Desk Manager, you may begin your conference.
All right, thank you, Melinda. Hello, everyone. We wanted to have this conference call today to go over what we just released, NCA Client Automation 12.9. We did go GA last Friday, February 6th. So I wanted to take you very quickly through some of the new features that we've added. Now, we've added these new features. I'm just going to go over them at a very high level today. We will have a differences course that will be available in the next 4 to 8 weeks, and I'll post an announcement on the community when that training course is available. So in 12.9, again, GA last Friday, February 6th, we've added a number of new features and functions, and I will go through each one of these at a high level, and then we'll take questions at the end of the call. I wanted to also talk about the life cycle of the product. 12.5, the base release, went end of service at the end of January. So that release is no longer in active service. The 12.5 SP1 and 12.5 SP1C1 releases, an end of service has been announced for the end of January 2016. So they are still in service for another year. At that point, at January 31st of 2016, you will need to have upgraded to the 12.9 release. While 12.8 will still be in service, we want you to get up to the latest release level to take advantage of all of the new features, and we continually, with every release, put in performance enhancements. So we do want you on the latest release. The first feature I wanted to talk about was neighbor-aware software distribution. So there were some high-level goals that we wanted to provide with implementing neighbor-aware software distribution, mainly to accelerate deployments of software delivery payloads, whether those are product installs, whether those are patches, whether they're files or folders or scripts. We wanted to be able to accelerate getting software delivery packages to the endpoint. To that end, we also wanted to lower the infrastructure costs. So it is intended to minimize the number of scalability servers that you might need for your environment. And again, that depends on your network topology, whether you'll be able to eliminate scalability servers, but we certainly want you to get this feature implemented and start taking advantage of it. So I was going to start with the picture, and then I'll take you through how to configure the neighbor-aware software distribution. So in this particular graphic, subnet C, which is in the upper right corner of the screen, let's just say those are your production e-commerce servers. That's where you host your e-commerce website. You would not want to configure collaboration and neighbor-aware software delivery on those production servers because you have a very strict change request policy for those servers. So you wouldn't configure any agents on that subnet to be collaborating agents. For your other two subnets, subnet B and subnet A, these are your knowledge workers. And you would configure any number of collaborating agents on those subnets. So subnet B, in the middle of the page, you've defined one collaborating agent. And subnet A, at the bottom left-hand corner of the page, you've configured 4 collaborating agents. So those collaborating agents are the agents that will connect to the scalability server, download whatever software delivery packages are there, and then any of your neighbor-aware agents, any of the non-collaborating agents on that subnet, will then connect to a collaborating agent to get that software delivery package, eliminating the need to go back up to the scalability server over the network to get those packages. If you have any questions, you can use the Q&A, and we'll open up for questions at the end of the call. So these are some of the configuration parameters that you will be defining for neighbor-aware software distribution. First of all, you turn it on. You say you want to use it, and then you define the number of collaborating agents within a subnet that are going to participate. The packages are not stored permanently. The next slide I will take you through setting up the configuration to manage those packages on your collaborating agents. Now, all of your agents on a subnet will still connect to the scalability server to find out what payloads they need and where the collaborating agent is that has it so that they can go get that package from a neighbor. There are a few more parameters that you'll want to configure. First of all, turning collaboration on, and then a package cleanup policy and a package maximum age, because you don't want to leave these packages out there on your collaborating agents forever. You'll want to clean them up periodically, so you can do that through the configuration policies we've provided. Health monitoring, we added some alert remediation. In 12.8, we added a health monitoring capabilities within the product. And what that does is monitors the health and well-being of your client automation infrastructure, so your domain managers, your scalability servers, and your agents. And with 12.9, we added the ability to configure scripts to run upon the receipt of an alert. So we delivered 2 out-of-the-box remediation scripts for CAF start and CAF repair. And so you can define scripts in your alert configuration to run on a particular kind of alert coming in. Out of the box, we provided the CAF start and CAF stop. As part of the 12.9 release, we're also working to replace a functionality within the product that was provided by CCS, or CA Common Services. In this release, we have replaced the DTS configuration to configure your hop links. You know your topology the best, so you are now able to go in natively within the product without using CCS and configure how you want your data transport to happen across your network. The native functionality eliminates the need to install CCS and use the SQL Server, and CCS only supported SQL Server, so you couldn't use Oracle in these implementations. So that this functionality does away with the need to have that separate SQL Server beside your client automation infrastructure. Now, if you are using CCS, you can continue to use CCS, but we are encouraging people to start using and configuring the native functionality that we're replacing CA Common Services with, because in our next release after 12.9, we will be removing CCS dependencies and providing native functionality. We also, in this release, replaced the CCS calendars. So you're able to have your CCS calendars if you're still using those. As I said, we haven't deprecated that functionality yet, but we would like you to take advantage of the CCNF calendars that we've implemented. And you can go through your configuration and create your calendars and attach them to jobs and groups. We have also been incrementally increasing the amount of functionality that is available in the web admin console. And we've been doing that very deliberately around roles. So the last couple of releases, we have focused primarily on a software delivery manager role, and we continue to add features to assist that role. So in 12.9, we added the ability to manage static and dynamic computer groups, software groups, procedure groups, catalog groups. You've got your package management, all within the web console at this point. We also made some changes to Patch Manager. Patch Manager sits on top of software delivery. So what we've done in this release is expose all of those software delivery job options within Patch Manager. So if you want to change any of those job options, or software policies, those are all exposed now, and you are able to do that directly from Patch Manager instead of having to go back into the DSM console to change any of those job options that are provided with the patch content that we download for you. And as I said in the beginning, we continually are making performance enhancements with every release. This time we focused on database optimization for both Oracle and SQL. We improved response times for all of these different functions, DSM Explorer, discovered software, your queries, your engines, We are now storing only the latest 3 versions of your signature and IntelliSigs file. And we added an application idle notification for the GUI on the DSM Explorer. We also changed the way the manager is designed so that it now understands if the UI has hung or has stopped working, and changed the way that the UI communicates by sending a heartbeat from the manager to the UI, and then it will shut down gracefully if necessary. One of the other things that we added is an integration to mobile device management. Now this is currently available on the 12.8 release. We do have a level of integration using the asset collector. With the 12.9 release, we modified that, so it's using API calls to go into the CA MDM database and get all of that rich data that they have about any mobile devices, Windows Phone, iOS, or Android devices. And we get all of the rich inventory information, and we can import that into CA Client Automation. And what this does is give you a single unified view of any asset that is connecting to your corporate network. You will see these as unmanaged assets, and within the web console of Client Automation, you are able to launch the MDM console to then go take active management of any of these devices. Because we have this inventory information now in Client Automation, you can set up policies and dynamic queries and get notifications. If you have a certain piece of mobile software that you don't want on your end systems, you can get alerts. All of the rich functionality that's available in Client Automation can now be brought to bear on your mobile devices also. And I wanted to let you know about a limited time promotion that's going on. This goes on, this promotion will be valid until the end of March 2015, so another 6 weeks or so. You are able, if you have Client Automation, you are able to get up to 1-to-1 ratio of MDM licenses at no cost and take advantage of the unified endpoint management view that Client Automation and the integration to CA MDM provides. So please contact your account manager or let me know about it. There are some links to some additional information about the promotion on the community site. It's on the main page. Just click on the CA Unified Endpoint Management info and you can get some additional information about that. So those are the main features. To understand all of the things that we did in the 12.9 release, I'd encourage you to go out and look at the release notes that we added and that is now available from the support website. We are supporting upgrade paths for your enterprise and domain managers from the 12.5 SP1 and 12.5 SP1 C1 directly to 12.9, and then of course 12.8 to 12.9. I did want to spend just a quick moment talking about what comes next. I'm about to show you some things that are covered under NDA. This is roadmap. We are in Sprint 0 planning for our next release after 12.9. We don't have a version number for that yet, so we have codenames the next release Mercury, and as soon as we decide on a version number, we'll start sharing that information out. We will also be starting in the next couple of months end of sprint reviews to give you early access. You'll be receiving an invitation, and you do need to register because we will be showing you pre-release code. So that invitation to register will go out probably in the next 4 weeks to start getting you involved in those end of sprint reviews. So 12.9 is the existing release. It's the newest release that was out there, released last Friday, February 6th. And for our next release, as I said, we're in Sprint 0. So some of these may change over the next couple of months as we put the release backlog together and more firmly identify exactly what we're going to deliver. But what I wanted to do is just give you some early insights. So right now we're working on a utility called the Admin Console. In past releases, we've supported a command line that was referred to as the MDB Admin Console. and it was just a command line. What we're doing is extending that and putting a UI on the front of that. And what this will allow you to do is move your configuration items, all of your configuration items from, say, 12.8 into a 12.9 release. So if you're replacing your hardware and you have a clean installation, you can go in and migrate your policies, your queries, your groups, all of that rich configuration data that you've spent years building up in client automation to your new release. You'll also be able to move that configuration between, say, a dev or a test domain manager or scalability server into a production scalability server. And we'll have it so you can pick specific objects and classes to move. So you can move everything, or you can very selectively move an individual query, say, from a test into production. Now, we want to release this in the service stream so that you'll be able to use it immediately for any upgrades that you'll want. So watch the community for an announcement of its availability. We're still designing that piece of functionality, so I don't have a target date yet. So watch the community for updates. We also are making some ENC enhancements, and these will also be made in the service stream. So ENC is extended network connectivity. It allows you to manage your endpoints over an internet connection. So your endpoints do not have to be VPN'd into your corporate network to actively manage them with client automation. And we're making some changes so that you can issue certificate blacklists and block access to certain endpoints if you should need to do that. We're also adding some security enhancements to that ENC. Again, we want to deliver that in the service stream also, so watch for that announcement. We also want to make some fundamental changes to Patch Manager. And again, this is in design right now, so I would encourage you to get involved in the end of sprint reviews. Again, those invitations will come out in the next 3 to 4 weeks, so watch for those. And at that point, we'll start sharing what our plans are for patch management. But we do plan to make some significant changes to Patch Manager in our next release. And then, of course, finishing the technology refresh to replace CA Common Services. In 12.9, we replaced the calendars in the DTS configuration. And in our next release, we will replace the event management and the continuous discovery of unmanaged systems. And then some additional health monitoring enhancements. We also want to implement a self-upgrading, self-healing agent. So the plan here is that when we come out with the agent in our next release, our Mercury release, the intent is that you can stage that on your scalability server, and the next time your endpoints check in, they will get the updated agent. Also intend to be able to do that with agent patches that we may distribute during the service stream, that you'll be able to, that agent will know that there's a new version available and update itself. And then, of course, continuing with platform currency. So that's what we have planned next. At this time, I would like to open it up for questions. Melinda, if you would open the lines.
At this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster.
All right, and there was one question come in the Q&A. And the question was, on the domain manager, we use CCS events from software delivery to trigger commands. How can this be accomplished without CCS? So that is on our roadmap, replacing the event management functionality that is currently supported by CA Common Services. So we are planning that in the Mercury release. And as we go forward, certainly get involved in those end of sprint reviews to see what we're enabling there for you. Are there any other questions?
There are no audio questions at this time.
All right. We will be posting this recording on the community. Feel free to ask questions on the community or reach out to me directly, laurel.gentry@ca.com. And again, I'll be sending out end of sprint invitations for our next release, and I would really encourage you to get involved in those. We do have some large changes planned, specifically around Patch Manager, ease of use, ease of install, ease of upgrade. So your participation is important to make sure that you know, we're implementing the things that you need. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. This does conclude today's conference call. You may now disconnect your lines.